And we are at verse number, and we are at verse number
21.
21, right? So we saw before that in this, actually Atma and Atma Viveka is going on. Okay. So Ajnana, ignorance, he's talking about what can be greater ignorance when these two completely opposite things, two completely opposite are taken to be one. So really Atma Anatma Viveka is going on. In verse 17th, like he said, Atma is partless, whereas the Deva has got very many parts. Iti. Hmm? Atma is one and Deha has got is many. So how can it be that they can be one, but people take it as one? So it must be Ajnanam only. Then we saw that the Atma is the ruler, whereas Deha is the ruled, Atma
Rules.
is internal, Deha is external. So how can it be that these can be taken as one, but they are taken as one? It must be ignorance only. Okay? Then we saw Atma is Jnanamayaha iti, is of very much of the nature of consciousness, and it is Punyaha, whereas Deha is Mamsayu. So there is a little bit of aruchi in this, that Deha is only all flesh, it's just a lump of flesh, iti, and it is impure, iti. How can be taken as one? Then verse number 20, Akra is the illuminator, it is pure, it is bright, iti, whereas Deha is dark, iti. So how can it be, when Deha is inert and this is consciousness, how can they be one? It must be ignorance, iti. Okay. Then we come to this Atma Nityo hi Sadrupaha, verse 21. Atma Nityo hi Sadrupaha,
Atma nityo hi sadrupa.
Deho Deho Nityo Hyasanmayaha.
Deho nityo hai sanmaya.
So basically, it's Dehaha Anityaha, Asanmayaha is Asatmayaha. Tayoraikyam prapashyanti
Teorekyam prapashyanti.
किमज्ञानमतः परम्.
Kima jnanamatah param.
तो मैंने पूरा ये पढ़ लिया, all these 16 pages or whatever it was. So the self, Atma Nityaha, it is that which is free of time. That means past, present, future doesn't apply to Atma because it is the very basis of time. Iti. Self is eternal. And what is it? It is of the nature of Sat. What is Sat? Sat is existence. Iti. And what is Deha? It is Sadrupaha. What is Deha? It's the opposite. Anityaha. And it is Asat. Asat. So Sat means existence, that which is existing. Asat, he is calling it here. That it is not, it is like not as good as non-existent. Because not separate actually from existence. Okay. It's not there as a separate thing. And some see the oneness of these two. What can be ignorance other than this? So let's look at this. This is very nice actually. This whole section is good. The self is eternal and of the nature of existence. Atma is nitya, eternal, meaning not limited in time. So what does eternal mean? That which transcends time, meaning neither past, present or future is there in which. Why? Because it is the very basis of time. It is the source. It is not that which exists all the time, but that which transcends the very idea of time. Because it is Sadrupa, the nature of existence. The nature of Atma is to be, meaning that it can never not be. It is existence. It cannot ever be not there. It always is, at all times, under all conditions and in all places, in deep sleep, in waking, in dream, here, there, and everywhere. That is Atma iti. This is because Sadrupa is the nature of existence, asti bhati priyam. What about the body? On the other hand, is anitya. It is impermanent, or it is perishable because it is asatmaya. So Swamiji has given the footnote: asat plus maya is equal to asanmaya. Sat means existence, and asat essentially means non-existence. Meaning what? Asat looks like it exists as something independent, but when you examine, you find it is only name and form. So when you examine the name and form, you find that there is Sat and then there is name and form. Yeah? Interesting way of putting it. Asat looks like it exists, but when you find, what does it mean here? Actually, it means that it is not existing as an independent vastu. It is only a name and form of Sat iti. In itself, it doesn't have a separate existence. Nice. We may attribute existence to a pot. For example, even though we say pot is, the isness does not belong to the pot. Isness or existence belongs to clay and ultimately to asti bhati priyam, as we have seen, to consciousness which is ever existent. Uncle, the relationship between Sat and Asat, unless you want to ask a question. Huh?
In this relationship between pot and clay, both are in the same location, but they do not share the same degree of reality. The pot is mithya and clay is satya. When we say pot and is placed in the same locus, which seems to suggest that they both exist. But pot is a superimposition upon is. The isness is called adhisthana, substratum, and pot is called adhyarupa, superimposition. These two don't exist in the same locus, just as the rope and stake does not exist in the same locus, but we lump them together.
Yeah, so this is good, Swamiji has taken a big jump. First, he says when he's explaining the pot, yeah, relationship between pot and clay, that both are in the same location, but they don't share the same degree of reality. So he's taken pot with clay. Then he jumps to pot is. And we can do the same thing with clay. Clay is. So when we look at pot, pot का कारण clay है, ठीक है? और clay का कारण क्या है? Isness है. So we may reduce pot to clay, saying that pot is but a name and form of clay. And we can do the same thing with clay. Clay is. Okay? And that isness is the truth of clay. But here he is not doing that. He is sitting with pot only. Eh? So he says, we say pot is. So pot is. They are both in the same locus, the same place. Iti. So when we say the word pot is, it looks like there are two things here, but it's not that both exist. Isness exists and pot exists. Pot is a superimposition upon the is. Yeah? What does superimposition upon is mean? ऐसे रखोगे तो I can't see your face at all. आप लोग को ना ये आईपैड के लिए एक स्टैंड करना पड़ेगा. दिलीप को बोल दो. I don't know what kind of stand one gets for iPad. Or you need a table or something, no? Or but you're sitting on your dining table, no?
Yes.
तो iPad का own stand है. हाँ. अच्छा थोड़ा दूर डालना पड़ रहा है. हाँ अभी ठीक है.
अभी ठीक है.
तो इसका अर्थ क्या हुआ कि pot is a superimposition upon is. इसका मतलब क्या है?
पॉट क्ले पे अध्यारोपित है.
हाँ, माने पॉट है ही नहीं,
पॉट है
क्ले
ही
पे
नहीं।
नहीं, इजनेस पे अध्यारोपित है। स्वामी जी ने जंप कर दिया ना, वो क्ले को तो बाय बाय ही
हाँ
कर दिया ऑलरेडी।
हाँ, वो अस्थि भांति प्रियम पे आ गए।
सीधा चला गया, पॉट में से
सीधा।
सीधा अस्थि भांति प्रिय अध्यारोपित है उसके ऊपर। उसका मतलब क्या आया कि पॉट है ही नहीं,
हम्म।
ओनली इजनेस इज देयर, और वो पॉट एक इजनेस का नाम रूप है। अनीता, यू आर ओके विद दैट?
Yes.
सो आई से फिंगर इज, दिस फिंगर इज,
Uh-huh.
अभी फिंगर को गायब करते हैं। फिंगर इज सुपर इम्पोज,
On
finger is superimposed on isness.
फ्लैश।
That means what? Finger gone, no finger. There is
only
no finger here. There is only isness here.
है.
अभी देखो,
सारा
फेस इज, फेस गया। दिस इज कॉल्ड वेदांतिक मैजिक। नहीं है,
सारा
कोई
जगत ही
फेस
गया।
नहीं है।
जैसे स्वामी जी कहते थे ना, तुम्हारी शर्ट को तूने पहनी पर मैं तुमको नेकेड कर दूंगा.
हाँ,
नो
शर्ट चला गया,
शर्ट पे
शर्ट
आ
चला
जाओ.
गया।
चला गया.
ठीक है, तो इट्स गॉन। ओके, so pot is an adhyaropa superimposition. These two don't exist in the same locus, just as the rope and the snake don't exist in the same locus. But yet we lump them together. तो स्वामी जी ने सीधा उड़ा दिया बेचारा पॉट को, इस रोप स्नेक बना दिया। Similarly, when we say this body is, अंकल बताओ। हाँ,
Similarly, when we say this body is, isness is not the nature of the body. Just as redness and heat from the fire are superimposed upon the iron ball, there is isness, which belongs to a Atma, is superimposed upon the body. That is why it looks as if the body is. In fact, the nature of the body is Asat, not being, whereas being is the nature of the Atma. These two cannot coexist. Yet we lump them together and say that I am the body.
yes. So this is a very interesting paragraph. When we say the body is, isness is not the nature of the body. अभी उसको बॉडी को उड़ाना है। Just as redness and heat from the fire are superimposed upon the iron ball, the isness which belongs to Atma has gone and got he has taken the other way. Isness is now superimposed upon the body. That is a different way of saying it, you know. That is why it looks as if the body is, meaning isness is being lent to the body. Body is just a nama rupa of isness. In fact, the nature of the body is asat, meaning it is not there. It is asat, not being, not there. Whereas being is the nature of atma. Isness belongs to atma, not to the body. Iti. The nature of body is not to be.
God.
Nature of body, he said, is asat, not being. Meaning it's not there as a separate entity, you know. We'll have to look at it like that. Body is not there as a separate entity. It is only there as a nama rupa of isness. Iti. These two cannot coexist, yet we lump them together and say, I am the body, when actually this I am is the truth, whereas the body is only nama rupa. The isness belongs to Atma, not to the body. Okay? Anita? Okay.
जी.
Now you can see the ways how. Uncle, you read. Apiko.
The ways in which the ignorance plays out in our life are described here in many verses. Each one presents an aspect of our
Brahma.
delusion or false notion about the self. The problem of sorrow has its roots here. From here we build up, calling things I, mine, and yours, and so on. It all begins from here. However, and as long as this is retained, the sorrow cannot go away. Having some arrangements such as this is mine and this is yours is fine and may be required. But basically, sorrow cannot go as long as this Brahm is continues.
Brahm.
Yeah. What is this Brahm? That I am, this is me, this is mine, that is you, that is yours.
Yeah.
Meaning we have done mutual exclusion. Kar diya. Ki I am this, I am not you. You are that, you are not me. 100% कर दिया है. Okay, mutual exclusion कर दिया है. Iti. And he says from here is where sorrow begins. Iti. And now he'll explain more. Okay.
Vedanta teaches that the root of all samsara lies in this false notions, opinions, and superimposition. This Brahm alone brings Brahm about ourselves that arises from this ignorance. In this text, the author is addressing the human problem at the most fundamental level.
Okay. Yeah. Anita.
False perception in the source of sorrow. Vedanta says that what you consider yourself to be is not the reality about yourself. And this causes the problem of human sorrow. Shoka, grief, or sadness is the problem of a human being, and it arises from moha, false perception. Moha is also known as aviveka, non discrimination. It consists of seeing something which is not there and failing to see something which is there. In the rope snake example, one sees the snake which is not there and does not see the rope which is there. This is called viprita buddhi, a contrary conclusion or false perception. Okay, this the perception of the snake causes fear. This fear stands for all other problems in life, such as anxiety or whatever else will come along with fear. The fear caused by the perception of snake has no genuine reason, but from the standpoint of the person who sees a snake, there is a reason for fear because he sees a snake. What really exists, which is the rope, is not cause for the fear. So, how do you help this person who has fear and shows a tendency to run away? No conventional method of driving away that snake will work because the snake is not a conventional snake. It is only a perceived snake. Therefore, no conventional means will help this person become free from fear.
Yeah, just imagine what is sitting there is a rope. The fellow is seeing a snake there. और आप आए डंडे के साथ हैं? आपको तो रोप दिख रहा है इसलिए आप डंडा भी नहीं लेके आएंगे हैं? मुझे लगता है सपोजिंग इसमें मुझे लगता है कि सपोजिंग यू गो अलोंग विद द फेलो एंड यू से ना 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 हाँ हाँ स्नेक इज देयर डंडा ले आओ फिर डंडा लेके आके उसको खूब मारते हैं और फिर उसको बताते हैं देखो अभी वो मूव नहीं कर रहा है इट इज डेड योर स्नेक इज डेड तो क्या होगा he will lose his fear of snake पर इधर बोल रहा है कि ये कन्वेंशनल स्नेक नहीं है उसको मार नहीं सकते हैं इधर मारना पड़ेगा उसको एक फिजिकल स्टिक से नहीं नॉलेज स्टिक से मारना पड़ेगा इति
Similarly, the human being suffers from sadness for a variety of reasons. One may think that one's sadness is caused by other people, and so on. We usually ascribe the cause of sadness to something other than ourselves. But the cause for this problem is within us, not outside.
Yeah. So Pooja
जनरली हम
Swamiji, हाँ, अच्छा
जनरली
उनसे,
हम अपनी तकलीफ के लिए दूसरे को ब्लेम कर देते हैं ना कि इसकी वजह
हाँ
से ऐसा हो गया.
हाँ, करना ही है क्योंकि हमें दिखता है ना ऐसा,
हम्म.
इसलिए
खासकर जब डेथ हो जाती है हमारे कोई फैमिली मेंबर की, तब
वो
बड़ी
तो
सैडनेस आती है.
sadness, and it's okay, doesn't matter, but understand the sadness is mithya, that's all.
हाँ, अंडरस्टैंड.
हाँ, उसको sadness को फिर,
दैट इज मोर
it
इम्पोर्टेंट.
is only a, you see what happens, sadness is a vritti, no? What is sadness? Sadness is a vritti, a mind modification.
माइंड.
So we will say, okay, it's a mind modification, it's taking place. Am I mind modification or am I the illuminator of mind modification? I am the illuminator of mind modification. इस तरह से जब विवेक करते हैं, ठीक है, तो सैडनेस जो है वो होगा, पर उससे फिर ज्यादा सफरिंग नहीं होगी. वी वेरी क्विकली कम बैक टू आवरसेल्व्स कि ठीक है, सैडनेस तो है, वी विल मिस द पर्सन एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा, मिस तो करेंगे, ऑब्वियसली मिस करेंगे. दैट इज वो व्यावहारिक लेवल पे है, एक लेवल पे है वो सब, पर उसको मिथ्या की. व्हेन आई से मिथ्या, व्हाट डज दैट मीन? इट इज मिथ्या, सपोजिंग आई टेल यू,
नॉन डिपेंडेंट,
या
डिपेंडेंट अपॉन समथिंग.
हाँ, also it means that I am more real. If I say sadness is mithya, it means I am not sadness, I am satya, and this is a mind modification. It's an emotion which is taking place because of big lot of samskaras are sitting there in the mind. So some emotions are taking place. It's okay. Let it take place. I am not that. Why I should bother too much about it? Iti karke. Yeah, we don't need to be क्या फील गिल्टी कि मैं अभी इतनी स्पिरिचुअल हूँ और मैं वेदांत कर रही हूँ और हमें पता है कि हम आत्मा है, तो हमें दुख क्यों हो रहा है? अरे कोई बात नहीं, बी सेंसिबल कि हाँ दुख हो रहा है, कोई बात नहीं, उसको होने दो, माइंड पे हो रहा है ना. क्या मेरे में दुख है? वो पूछो. कॉन्शियसनेस में दुख होती है? वो करना पड़ेगा. वी विल हैव टू सी इट फॉर आवरसेल्व्स कि जो इधर जो वस्तु इसको इल्यूमिनेट कर रहा है, जिसकी प्रेजेंस में ये दुख पता हो रहा है, क्या वो दुखी है कि अहंकार दुखी है, कि हमने दुख के साथ हमने तादात्म्य रखा और फिर हमने बोला कि आई एम सैड इति. ये समझना पड़ेगा उस टाइम पे. एंड वेदांत विल हेल्प अस टू डू दैट. सो इट्स ओके इफ वी फील सैड, कोई बात नहीं, रोना है तो रो लो. उसको सत्य मत समझो, दैट्स ऑल. वेदांत का उतना ही है कि इसको सत्य मत समझो. हाँ, रोना है तो रो लो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, हम रोएंगे. हाँ. So Puja Swamiji used to say that there are two kinds of problems. One is a problem where the solution is outside the problem, like hunger or thirst. I need food to eat and water to drink. Similarly, all these day-to-day problems of hunger and thirst, poverty, diseases, illiteracy, and whatever are problems that have a solution outside of the problem, we need to resort to an appropriate solution to solve those problems. Vedanta cannot do anything for these problems. For example, if I have an allergy to dust, now I cannot say I am Atma और मेरा कोई एलर्जी नहीं है, आत्मा में कोई एलर्जी नहीं है. विच इज ट्रू, आत्मा में एलर्जी नहीं है, पर मेरे नोज में एलर्जी है. इसलिए वो सॉल्यूशन टू माय एलर्जी इन द नोज इज एलेग्रा. तो एलेग्रा को अपनाओ या और कुछ होम्योपैथी अपनाओ, आयुर्वेद अपनाओ, कुछ भी कुछ अपनाओ. या सो Vedanta cannot do anything for these problems. Everything is Ishvara doesn't work when I am thirsty or without money or I am having an allergy. For all of these problems, an appropriate solution is required. But when the problem is sadness, it's like a puzzle in which all the pieces are there, but you have to assemble them in a certain way. If you are unable to assemble those scattered puzzle pieces to arrive at the solution, what will you do? You cannot go outside and get something else, because this is a situation where the solution lies within the problem. So, supposing sadness is occurring in the mind, yeah, somebody died very close to us, we have a bond, many years की bond है, और कोई गए, तो हमें sadness हो, sadness is occurring in the mind. तब उस टाइम पे what is Vedanta trying to tell us? That you are not anything that happens in your mind. Yeah, so that would be the solution at that point. That doesn't mean that you will not feel the sadness, but you will not make that into a big suffering. You will allow the sadness to come and you will allow it to go. आया गया, उसको फिर पकड़ के नहीं बैठेंगे और फिर उसके ऊपर फिर ब्रूड करना, ब्रूड करना, ब्रूड करना ना. Especially when we lose somebody, you know, वो बार बार आएगी, क्योंकि that we miss people, so it will come, memories will come, ये सब आएगा, बार बार आएगी feeling, see. पर each time हम उसको देखेंगे कि हाँ ये feeling taking place in my mind, it's okay, let it come, let it go. So we don't deny it, we allow ourselves to feel it, and then when you feel it, it goes. Eh? It may not go forever, it may come back again, do it again. Yeah, that is the more humane way of dealing with this. Eh? So you cannot go outside and get something else, because this is the situation where the solution lies within the problem. You have to learn to assemble those scattered pieces so that they solve the puzzle. You can do all other kinds of things if you want. You can go get something to eat or turn on the air conditioning, etc. But that will not help as well as solving the puzzle is concerned. Human sadness is a problem that has its solution within the problem itself. We have assumed that sadness, like other problems, is a problem with an external solution because we think that the cause lies outside the problem. I am sad because somebody did this, or I am sad because somebody did not do this, and so on. We assume this and then we try to work on solutions. Make this person do what you think he should do. Stop him from doing what you think he should not do. Make things happen which are not happening, or stop things that are already happening. We think that the solution is to try to change things around, manipulate or control things to have my way. Sometimes it appears to solve a given problem, but then somebody else does something and you are back where you started with a new problem. Uncle, sadness does not go.
Sadness does not go because the cause does not go. This problem of sadness does not seem to leave, regardless of what we do. At moments, it seems to have left, but then it comes back for the simple reason that the cause has not gone away. As long as the cause exists, the effect will emerge again. It is like removing weeds from the garden. You keep on cutting them from the top, thinking that you have removed the problem, but then they come again. As long as the root is there, these weeds will reappear. Similarly, regardless of what we do, the sadness returns.
Just
one fellow gets married.
Uncle, let's pause here. Eh? What is the pause? Now, in our case, you, me, Anita, all of us have studied Vedanta. Okay? It is not that we don't know. We know. We cannot say we don't know our nature. Can you truly say you don't know your nature? I don't think so. You will have to admit that, yes, my nature is just effortless consciousness. Yeah, that much so at least we will have to admit. Yeah. Now the problem is, if I say that effortless consciousness is sad, which is what we are doing. I am sad. Right? So that problem is what is to be corrected. I am sad. Now, supposing you know, even then the sadness comes. Why does that come? It is only samskara. It is samskara janya sadness. That samskara is there, of taking oneself to be human being, of taking oneself to be related, of taking oneself to be something. That samskara is there. So therefore, one has to keep repeating and enlightening that samskara for people who know. For people who don't know, they will have to get knowledge. Yeah. For people who know, if you find that there is a recurring problem of sadness, it means nididhyasana. For people who don't know, it means shravana. Yeah, again and again do shravana until you become very clear what your nature is. That yes, my nature is effortless consciousness that is free. Iti. Until that takes place, shravana must go on. Iti. And once that is recognition took place, that the consciousness that I am is effortless, this is number one. I think there probably, I feel that we may not have a problem in recognizing that the consciousness that we are, there is no effort required for that. ना इसमें कोई प्रयत्न नहीं है. Even a moment of silence is enough for us to understand that मैं एक conscious being हूँ और जो consciousness मेरी है उसी में ये सब कुछ हो रहा है. Because I am the one who is aware. I am aware of this pencil. In awareness that I am, the knowledge of pencil is taking place. In awareness that I am, knowledge of Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha is taking place. In the awareness that I am, knowledge of thought, what thinking is going on, what feelings are there, all that is taking place in the awareness that I am. And that awareness is effortless. So I'm waiting to see that I'm waiting to see कि हाँ, that is true. मेरा जो awareness है उसमें कोई effort नहीं है. Anita?
It is knowledge.
Yeah. And it is effortless.
Effortless.
Yeah? कोई प्रयत्न नहीं है. Anita, कोई प्रयत्न है in knowing that you are?
No, not at all.
No action.
No prayatna at all.
No prayatna at all.
No prayatna at all.
No, it's completely effortless. True, our nature, our swabhava is effortless consciousness. There is no effort. Absolutely no effort. In this effortless consciousness, Vishesha Jnanam is taking place. I come to know different things. In that awareness, knowledge of pen, knowledge of thought, knowledge of feeling, knowledge of prana, knowledge of these, knowledge of that, knowledge of sensations, knowledge of thoughts, knowledge of feelings, knowledge of ego states, knowledge of memory. All this is coming, just thought modifications taking place, bubbling up in effortless awareness. Yeah. And that effortless awareness is what one's nature is. That is one's true nature. उसमें कोई change नहीं होता है. क्योंकि change होगा तो हमें पता नहीं होगा क्या हो रहा है उधर. It is completely changeless. But what is happening? Something is taking place somewhere else and we are superimposing it on something. That is all Shastra is pointing out. कि देखो आपके मन में कुछ ना कुछ thoughts हो रहे हैं और वो थॉट्स को आप लेके एफर्टलेस अवेयरनेस पे डाल रहे हो. थॉट में क्या आया? सैडनेस आया और आप बोल रहे आई एम सैड. ठीक है? दैट्स ऑल शास्त्र इज पॉइंटिंग आउट दैट नो यू आर नॉट सैड. यू आर नॉट सैडनेस. यू आर एफर्टलेस अवेयरनेस. यू आर एफर्टलेस कॉन्शियसनेस. You are not sadness. Sadness is taking place in the mind because of some samskaras. Earlier, some, Ajnanam was there. Because of Ajnanam, already samskara of sadness is there. उसको थोड़ा कुछ ट्रिगर आएगा, वो ट्रिगर हो जाती है फट करके. Don't make the mistake again. Know very clearly that okay, it's happening in the mind. ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. Let it happen. Imagine what a freedom to say let it happen. आओ, आ जाओ, जो भी आना है आ जाओ, कोई भय नहीं है अभी. I was discussing. I said, yeah, I don't care. Unconscious में जो है उसको आना है आने दो, अभी भय नहीं है. जिसको आना है आओ, देखा जाएगा. No भय. That is what this recognition does. It frees you from fear. Even fear will come, but you will be able to say, I am not fear. I am this effortless awareness. But it requires this, it requires satsang, and it requires satsang with ourselves. अपने साथ सत्संग करना है, अपना own satsang, which is nididhyasana. Self satsang. Wow, yeah, I like that. Nididhyasana is self satsang. Satsang with oneself. Anyway, chalo. हाँ अंकल चलो.
One fellow gets married, another fellow gets divorced, and so on. We do all kinds of things with the one desire of becoming free from sadness. There is no solution this way. No therapist can help us to become free from sadness, because the problem of sadness has the cause within itself. The solution is also within the problem itself.
Yeah. Swami ji wala, you are the problem.
Yeah, वही है. याद
You
है
are the
वो
problem.
हमारे जो वो किताब था ना, इंट्रोडक्शन टू वेदांता. इन इंट्रोडक्शन no भगवद गीता, टीचिंग ऑफ भगवद गीता में, उसमें स्वामी जी starts off with this. There are two types of problems. This whole thing is from like one is the problem which is within its, one is the problem which is outside and it requires an outside solution, and the other is the problem which is yourself, iti. And that you have to solve differently, iti karke. Then you have to study Vedanta. Okay, we can do about 5 minutes more. Anita, this is a very long one, this paragraph. You can do, chalo या कर लेते हैं. Anita, आप read कर लो फटाफट. There's nothing that we know. We don't have to discuss anything here.
The cause of sadness is centered upon I. In fact, we are not sad because somebody did something or did not do something, or because something happened or did not happen. Then what is the cause? Only Vedanta tells us that the cause is within you. Everybody else will tell you that the cause is out there. Do this or that. Repeat this sacred name. Do this worship, etc. And then you will go to this or that loka and your problem will be solved. Vedanta says that wherever you go, the mind is enough to create all sorrow, because the mind makes a false conclusion about the self. That false conclusion is the reason for sorrow.
So, yeah.
That is why the first thing Lord Krishna says to Arjuna is Ashochan Anvasochatvam. Hey Arjuna, you are grieving for that which does not deserve to be grieved for. What was Arjuna grieving for? It appears as if Arjuna was grieving for the potential death of Bhima and Drona. Bhishma and Drona, his near and dear ones. He says, Hey Madhava, killing our near and dear ones, how can we be happy? Arjuna's conclusion is that the death of the near and dear ones is the cause of his sadness. What is wrong with that conclusion? If my near and dear ones passes away, should not I be sad? Would it not cause sorrow to anybody? Is it not a genuine reason to feel sorrow? But Lord Krishna says that wise people do not grieve. Anushocha means grieving because of something. Pandita na anushocanti. The wise person do not grieve
Gatasum.
Gatasun
agatasum.
gatasunschya. For
Hmm.
those who have passed away and for those who have not yet passed away.
Hmm.
Is it because the wise are so callous, so insensitive? Does it mean that wisdom makes them insensitive or thick skinned, that nothing happens to them? No feeling at all? Somebody dies and nothing happens to you. What Lord Krishna means is that nobody grieves for anybody else. In fact, everybody grieves for their own self, too.
Hmm.
Arjuna does not grieve for Bhishma or Drona. He grieves for himself.
Hmm.
Why do you say that? Because Arjuna feels that aham,
Esha
Isha.
esha,
mama
mama,
eke.
it, etc. I am theirs and they are mine. What will I do without them? I will be without any sport, without any warmth, without any security. What will I do without them? Thus the sorrow is centered on I.
Hmm.
Nobody grieves for anybody else. अपने सुख के लिए रोते हैं हम
Hmm.
लोग.
हाँ.
We always grieve for our own self. We
और
grieve
सुनो
because
सुनो एक मिनट, मजा
हाँ
आ रहा
जी
है बताना. हम अपने सुख के लिए रोते हैं और शास्त्र बताते हैं तुम सुख स्वरूप हो, है?
हाँ
और हमने हमारी सुख को उधर दे दिया, तो इसलिए हमको लगता है कि हमारा सुख चला गया. और शास्त्र इधर क्या बता रहे हैं कि तुम सुख स्वरूप हो,
तुम हो दुख स्वरूप.
तुम ही तो सुख स्वरूप हो. तुमने एक कंडीशन लगा दिया कि मुझे सुख नहीं होगा अनलेस वो पर्सन होगा. हमने एक कंडीशन लगा दिया अपने. यू हैव टू सी, वी हैव टू सी द फूलिशनेस ऑफ दिस होल थिंग, यू नो. आज मैंने वही एक पोस्ट में डाला इधर मेरे इस पे, मुझे आज दिख गया वो. मैंने बोला शास्त्र तो बता रही है हम सुख स्वरूप है, और है ही हम सुख स्वरूप. Really, there's nothing to limit that sukh, but we have put conditions on it. हमने कंडीशन डाला है कि नहीं, मैं सुखी होऊंगा जब ऐसा होगा,
ऐसा
वैसा
होगा.
होगा, तैसा होगा. We have put lot of conditions on ourselves, eh? And then we say that no, मैं हम तो दुखी हैं, eh? हाँ, okay. हाँ.
We grieve because there is sense of loss. A
Hmm.
lot of deaths happen, but if you don't feel a sense of loss, nothing happens to you. Sorrow happens only when the self gets connected. If it is someone I know or am somehow related to, then something happens. Grief is centered on the self. It is not centered on anything else. If something happens and it gets connected to the self in some way, that alone can bring grief. It is this personal sense of loss that makes Arjuna grieve.
Grief.
You are of course welcome to grieve. That makes nay. You are you are of
Of
course
course, well.
welcome to grieve. The point is just to understand where grief and sadness comes from. Unless that is understood, we can apply all kinds of solutions, but they won't work. We create distance from somebody or get attached to somebody else, but the basic cause remains intact and sorrow simply returns in a different form. We have the uncanny knack of creating sorrow because the problem is centered upon the self. The solution is therefore also centered upon the self.
Yeah. Om. Eh?
Oh.
Vedanta is not easy. It is very easy, and yet it is not easy at all, because it demands so much vairagya and so much of surrender to Ishvara.
Hmm.
You know, so much of surrender all the way. Eh? In yesterday, you know, because I have started reading Mandukya Upanishad with मुदिता वदनन जी, तो स्वामी जी का एक सेंटेंस उसमें था जो रियली वाज सो ब्यूटीफुल. बट आई होप आई कैन फाइंड द सेंटेंस, और आई विल सेंड इट टू यू, आई विल राइट इट आउट टू यू. आई विल जस्ट टेल यू. अभी आ जाएगा वो. But I'm telling you, this Mandukya Upanishad and all, if somebody who does not know Vedanta tries to read it, no, Swamiji is teaching to the 3-year course people. They won't understand what on earth is happening. Because पूरा जो कोर्स का ट्रांसक्रिप्शन है उसको बुक में निकाल के रखा है. हाँ देखो, look at this. So Swamiji says, you settle account with the world only with Ishvara. Because Jagat is Ishvara. You put everything in Ishvara's bank and then deal with Ishvara. You cannot deal with Ishvara with anything but Namaha. Surrender. Okay? If he is everything, if Ishvara is everything, Namaha is the best thing. No, not the best thing. It is the only thing. So acceptance, of Ishvara's Srishti. So even when somebody passes away whom we love, then that acceptance, and acceptance takes time. Yeah? Means Namaha. Okay. Ishvara's will. No? Like that, so many things, I grieve. I had a lot of grief. So grief for the country, grief for people who are suffering, grief for this thing. But it's all Ishvara, Namaha. Right? ईश्वरा को नमः. इतना सारा वैराग्य की जरूरत पड़ती है. And vairagya, yeah, vairagya will bring the namaha also. Okay? Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Okay.
Thank you,
Om
Guru Ma.
Tat Sat.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Om Hari Om.